Good evening. Today is January 27th, 2026. Welcome to the San Marino Unified School District Board of Education meeting. Here's our board president, Francesca Gill.
Good evening. Welcome, everybody. And hello to anyone on Zoom. Let's first start with item number 4, report of closed session. The Board of Education took unanimous action in closed session to approve the settlement agreement for student number 9876. The vote was all in favor except for Mr. Sung, who was absent. And now I'd like to call our regular open session to order at 7:06. Let's start with our roll call. Mr. Chang?
Here.
Mr. Sung is absent. Ms. Lamb?
Here.
Mrs. Ryan?
Present.
Mrs. Gill, present. And student board member, Mr. Burke?
Present.
Thank you. I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Richter to introduce our student leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, President Gill. Tonight, it is our honor to welcome a Titan from San Marino High School to lead the board in the salute to the flag. Come up to the podium and share a little bit about herself, her school, and introduce any guests that she may have here to support her. So Grace Davis, please join us at the podium, and we're very honored and excited to have you with us this evening.
Thank you. I believe we should start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Right hand over your hearts. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Good evening, everyone. My name is Grace Davis, and I'm currently a junior at San Marino High School. I would like to thank my ASB advisor, Mr. Jose Kerr, for giving me the opportunity to be here tonight, in addition to the other countless times he has lifted me up and provided endless support. I initially joined ASB in my freshman year of high school, and I served as a publicity and art commissioner. I continued to serve ASB my sophomore year as social media commissioner. This year, I am honored to be ASB co-vice president, where I have the privilege of providing traditional and new fun events for the student body. In addition to being ASB vice president, I am part of the wrestling team and multiple clubs on campus. In fact, today I was just at our wrestling's Rio Hondo League finals, where I placed first and am now CIF bound, along with the entirety of the girls' team and majority of the boys' team as well. One of the things that I believe SMHS does best is teach students how to balance academics, extracurriculars, and friends and family. The coursework is intense, especially for AP and honor students. But this is what I believe many love because it's challenging and allows for constant learning that never stops. The campus clubs provide safe and inclusive spaces for all students alongside the Wellness Center, which plays a vital role in maintaining balance and supporting mental health, another thing I yet admire. Overall, San Marino High School has given me and those around me the tools to grow as a leader, an athlete, a student, and more. And although I do enjoy my time during the school hours, I must admit that most of my memorable moments have occurred outside the classroom, at ASB events, athletic competitions, and during the small, meaningful moments shared during club meetings. These experiences shaped the high school memories of those who attended before me, those currently experiencing SMHS life, and hopefully many future students to come. We are sincerely grateful for these opportunities made possible through the support and dedication of this board, the community, our teachers, and of course, our esteemed principal, Dr. Wolf, alongside Vice Principals Dr. Hill and Mrs. Penialora. I will always be grateful that I am a San Marino Titan, and I would like to thank my parents as well for always supporting me. Thank you.
Grace, may like to come up here. I'm going to present you with a certificate. Board of Education join. Grace, can I present with a certificate in sincere appreciation for the Dean of Board of Education. Our regularly scheduled meeting. Very articulate and your experience. And this issue is the nicest parents. You are so lovely community, so thank you so much. So we'll get a picture of the Board of Education. And then we're going to take a picture with mom, dad, and Mr. Parent, Dr. Wall. One, two, three. One, two, three. You can get one part of it. Okay, yes. That stays in there. Mr. Parent. Dr. Wall. No.
They got you.
There you go. Just made it. Job.
Grace, keep us posted on wrestling CIF. That's
Yes.
so exciting.
It is.
Okay, we need to have an approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve?
Second, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Ryan. Roll call, Mr. Chang,
Aye.
Ms. Lamb,
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan,
Aye.
Mr. Burke,
Aye.
and Mrs. Gill. Aye. Sorry, I went out of order on that one, but. Now, the approval of the minutes from the January 13th, 2026 minutes. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Thank you. Roll call, Mr. Chang,
Aye.
Ms. Lamb,
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan,
Aye.
Mrs. Gill, aye, and Mr. Burke. Item 7, public comment. The Board of Education has adopted Board Policy 9323B to ensure the public's right to be heard in any matters pertaining to the San Marino Unified School District. Persons who wish to provide public comment will have 3 options to submit public comments. 1, submit through an online form. Did we have any online submissions?
No submissions today.
Thank you. Number 2, request to speak during the meeting via Zoom. Mr. Huang, please pause the meeting for 1 minute to collect public comments.
The 1 minute starts now. Communications from the audience regarding matters not on the agenda or items in the consent or information sections. Please provide your comments now. For items in the action section of the agenda, please provide your comments prior to the board beginning discussion on those items. If you would like to request to speak during the meeting, please press the raise hand icon to make a request. If you're dialing in from home, please dial *9 or please submit a public comment card. There is 30 seconds left. And there are no attendees wishing to speak.
Thank you so much. The third and final way to submit a public comment is to request to speak during the meeting in person via the public comment card. Do we have any submissions?
We have no submissions.
Thank you. 8, consent section. Do I have a motion to approve consent section 8A through 8J?
Move to approve? Second?
Thank you. Roll call. Mr. Chang,
Aye.
Ms. Lamb,
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan,
Aye.
Mrs. Gill, aye, and Mr. Burke.
Aye.
Thank you. Item 9, communication section. Communications from the Board of Education, and we ask that each board member take no more than 3 minutes to share their communications. Mr. Chang?
Okay, the last couple of weeks, I told there's an opportunity for the high school student in person to visit the hospital. The program is robotic surgery, the seminar. So then I initiate the talk and with USC K Medicine at the Acadia Hospital, and then I connect to Dr. Territory, and then they think it's a good program. So then forward to the high school principal. I'm pleased to know we will send the student. They are in the medical academy program. So I look forward to see they visit the hospital. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lamb?
Yeah, last Tuesday, I attended the City Club Centennial Celebration. Congratulations to City Club for being 100 years old and being so involved in community and support to the school district. It was a lovely event, met new faces as well as I rekindled with the old ones. And also last Thursday, I attended the Carver Science Fair, which was very well attended. One very special element that I noticed this year at the science fair is that the San Marino High School robotics team was there. And everyone was so excited to see their achievement, which was there was this robot, and Principal Caldwell can speak to it. There was a robot on there, and all the kiddos had so much fun exploring, experimenting with it. And it was such a hands-on event because the San Marino High School team allowed the elementary school kids to operate the robot. So under the supervision, of course. So that had garnered so much attention, including from my own kids, and everyone was so excited to be part of it. Beyond that, it was very nicely organized and just so exciting to see how much our kids are interested in experimenting, learning, and putting that all to good use. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Ryan?
Thank you. Like Ms. Lamb, I attended the City Club, and with you, I attended the San Marino Schools Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to share just a few things that I did over the last 2 weeks. I attended the San Marino High School PTSA meeting, which is always great to see my friends and also learn, just sort of keep your finger on the pulse of what's going on day to day at the school amongst the parents. I attended the foundation meeting last week and provided an update on our Measure M projects. And I look forward to hearing more Measure M updates from Dr. Troy later in the agenda. But I just wanted to reiterate our gratitude to the foundation for continually providing us $2 million in funding that we count on for our ongoing funds to fund 20 teachers. And that's 5 at each school site, and we couldn't do it without them. So thank you to them. And I also look forward to attending the HMS parent party this weekend, and I'm sure that'll be a great success. Thank you. Mr. Burke.
Thank you. Over the past couple weeks, San Marino High School students have been engaged in their studies and have had an opportunity to experience a series of fun outside the classroom. As I returned to campus this week, I was able to see the smiles and laughs of students sharing their memorable moments from this weekend's winter formal. This weekend, we were blessed with our large freshman class showing out in large numbers to come and experience their first ever winter formal, which from my standpoint, I would say was a success. I can confirm that there's a large number of dancers in the San Marino student body, as once everyone was exiting, you could see everyone was very sweaty. and very disheveled from 3 hours of dancing, I would say. Simultaneously, as our school was prepping for winter formal, students showed out in athletics as San Marino High School athletes continue their dominating performance in the Rio Honda League. Girls soccer continues their undefeated season with, I believe, a heated match coming up against Monrovia on Wednesday. And then boys basketball continues its success in league, remaining undefeated with a win last night over South Pass and looking to clinch league outright for the first time in school history, with needing only one more win. And looking forward to next Friday, there will be a move-up day for our Huntington Middle School 8th graders, which will give an opportunity to our performing arts groups to showcase their new talents to incoming students, as well as to provide kids with an idea of what they might pursue outside of the classroom once they reach San Marino. In conclusion, we are proud of all of our students on campus as they continue to work hard and achieve great things day in and day out. Thank you.
Thank you. And I did attend Hoop Coming. That was just like an electric environment, and congratulations on all the wins. Thank you. Dr. De La Torre?
Thank you, Board President, members of the Board of Education. Tonight, I want to pause for a moment to recognize and thank our incredible Board of Education in honor of it being National School Board Recognition Month. Serving on a school board is demanding work, often unseen. It requires countless hours of preparation, difficult decision-making, and a deep commitment to students, staff, and the broader community, often with little recognition and no expectation of praise and no salary, right? We talked about that last time. On behalf of the district, I really want to extend my sincerest appreciation to each of you for your thoughtful leadership, your willingness to ask the hard questions, and your steadfast focus on what is best for our students. Your governance sets the direction for the school district and provides stability for our schools. It allows our educators and administrators to perform at their very best. We are exceedingly fortunate to have a Board of Education that leads with integrity, professionalism, and a shared commitment to excellence to public education. Please know that your service truly matters and is deeply appreciated. Thank you so much for all that you do for our students, our staff, and for the wider community. We have something for you.
Thank you, board members. Thank you, board members. We love you, board members. Thank you, board members. Thank you, board members, for making school so wonderful. 由衷感谢，尽力深重，用心付出，造福学生，为着学子，感恩支持，教会教育，铭记在心。We appreciate you. You're the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And that's how we get paid. So
Yeah.
thank you.
So I think that was a wonderful video tribute to our extremely awesome Board of Education. And the children really do appreciate all the work that you do. So thank you. And you saw Dr. Caldwell there in the background practicing his Mandarin.
And the MBLI program going strong.
Yeah.
By the way, can you share the video so I can
Yes, our wonderful.
share with my wife?
Yes.
Thank you. Item 10, information items. First up, 10A, Measure M update. I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Stephen Choi.
Thank you, President Gill, members of the board, student member Burke, cabinet, and members of the San Marino community. Tonight, we're back with another update on Measure M. On the agenda this evening, there are 3 Measure M related action items. The first 2 items are related to the roof replacement at the San Marino High School concession restroom building. And the third item is underground utility inspection services at Carver School. I will now go ahead and pass it over to CJ to give us the latest updates and details on several exciting projects.
Good evening, Good evening, President Gill, members of the board, and Dr. De La Torre. Thank you for providing me this opportunity to provide an update on our Measure M projects. So for the past several weeks, we've been focusing on site coordination and planning for our major projects. And in this update, we're primarily going to be focused on some of the more exciting updates for Carver Elementary School. Starting off with Carver, you could see the first draft or rendition of our site plan. Sorry. This has not been reviewed with the site yet at this time. You could see all the questions that we have in red. So this solution would provide a drive aisle, provides all of the 5 classrooms for TK, 5 classrooms for kinder, and it also relocates the intermediate playground to the right-hand side of the new buildings. We are currently scheduling a meeting with the site to review and hopefully answer some of the questions that we do have. This will also be shifting the playfield towards the right-hand side and eliminating the tennis courts so that we're able to maintain full playfield sizes for sports. With that being said, this also provides closer access for the TK and kindergarten towards the lunch shelters, and it provides some possible future staff parking if necessary. At this point, the parking on the lower left is really just a placeholder for whatever we would like to put there. We right now have 3 portable classrooms that we will be able to remove at the end of the project. Before I move on, I didn't know if there was any questions or if we want to go back.
Okay, so the plan in the middle, that's the classroom, right? So then they were close to the Huntington Drive. Is that we will consider about the sun pool, so they will not have a pollution?
Yeah, so the classroom buildings are actually, we have quite a bit of a grade change from the top of the campus towards the bottom of the campus. So there actually is going to be a retaining wall on the Huntington side. So the classrooms will sit a bit lower than the Huntington Street itself, which should hypothetically, any pollution from cars would be above where the classrooms are. Secondarily, that also provides a safety factor that was our staff has spoken to concerns having visual access through the windows. So by having a retaining wall and splitting that grade change on the Huntington side and on the campus side gives added protection in both of those areas.
Thank you.
All right. So another exciting thing that we were able to do this week at Carver Elementary School is we met with the student council to help finalize our playground selection. So with the playgrounds presented, we had 2 options. One of the options was from Zoom Recreation, and this option is a more modernized playground with more modern equipment. And it's what you typically see on newer playgrounds. And on the second option is more of a traditional style playground that's almost similar to what they currently have, but slightly bigger and obviously newer. From the feedback we received from the students, it was about a 10-2 vote for option A. With the biggest comment that I would say that we received was a request for swings. Throughout the district, we do not have any swings at this point in time. And one of the other, I guess, drawbacks from having swings is they take a rather large footprint. So they take a large amount of area for fewer students to be able to play on. That's just because of the wide range of the swings and the safety factor involved with it. So what we have asked our vendor to do from Zoom Recreation is to see if they have any swing-like play structures that would be similar but not require the same large footprint. And we're exploring those options right now. But from the student feedback, it looks like we are leaning towards option A, with trying to implement some type of swing feature, but maybe not a full swing set, if that makes sense. We have jumping ahead, we have our next playground meeting with the student council at Valentine's scheduled for next week. And we will be doing a similar presentation to their student council as well. The options for Valentine, one is from Zoom Recreation and the other is also from Miracle. And they are Zooms is similar to what you see here. And then on Miracle's playground, they tried to incorporate some of the themes from like the oak trees and the natural elements that are more abundant at Valentine Elementary School.
I have a question.
Yep.
Are these costs about the same?
Yeah, we made sure that the two options presented were pretty comparable in cost.
So when you said you spoke to the student leaders in the group, what was the criteria in which they evaluated which of the plans to take? Was it for, I guess, best use of space, most inviting things to do, less more safety issues in terms of how it was built out or how things were positioned? What were some of the criteria that was used to ask people for their feedback? Like aesthetically, it looked
Yep.
pleasing. So
Yeah, the students actually provided great feedback. And what we did is we kind of went by element of the play structure. We went over colors. We went over, we even discussed the size of swings and how that may take away from some of the other features of the playground. The feedback for Carver specifically on option A that we received is a lot of the parents and the students in the community are active climbers and rock climbers. So they liked a lot of the more natural elements that you could see primarily in the lower left-hand picture, where they have some of those rock wall elements and some modern climbing type apparatuses and monkey bars and things like that. So that was a lot of the feedback we got was they really liked the climbing. What they wanted to see was swings, but like I said, it's a little difficult to incorporate that on a limited footprint.
They looked at each element, their goals. So she turned it into a very fast exercise. It was really precious to watch. But it was a team perspective. It wasn't that they're not as worried about safety. But yeah, fun.
We did mention the rubberized surface and yeah, and some of those items too. So it was mentioned, but really they were excited about the climbing elements, I would say. And shade.
thank you.
So who designs that? The vendor, or do our architects provide specs for color and aesthetics and all that?
So the colors and all of that is seen as like equipment. So it's goes through our vendor. Where the architect comes into play is when we are building the footprint of the playground. So basically the accessibility to the playground and all of those elements involved. But the playground itself is it's designed by the vendor. And they're pre-approved or pre-checked DSA playgrounds. All right, so moving on to Valentine Elementary School. We met with our architects last week, and we have asked them to provide some concept renderings of what the two-story classroom would look like if we were incorporating the NPR and food services components to that building. They're also working on an estimate for that to see the cost difference. Initially, our thoughts are it will be a cost savings addition to the project if we are not building that food services and NPR building at a later phase. So we're still waiting on those renderings and that data, and then we'll be reviewing that with the site as well. Over at the high school, we have given our architect the direction to proceed with a two-story option for the new classroom building. Now they are shifting towards the interim housing component for this summer. So they're starting the interim housing, or they're starting the two-story design, and we'll also be designing the interim housing. As of now, it looks like we'll have about 4 interim classrooms located on the north blacktop south of the softball fields. In addition to that, we are completing our concessions restroom project this week, and we are near completion of our security fencing project with our fence panels scheduled to be delivered next week. In addition to that, we have scheduled a walk with an access control vendor, Verkada, to discuss how that gate will operate and how it connects to the front office. So we're working with the IT department to make that selection and move forward with that as well. We also conducted our punch list at Huntington Middle School for our roof replacement, and we've completed that work as well. We've met with our Citizens Bond Oversight Committee last week, and we followed up with that to meet with Key Analytics to see how we can provide some of the documents and the information that they are requesting. Overall, it's been a busy 3 weeks, and that wraps up our Measure M update.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Troy, do you have anything to add?
No, there's a lot of work going on. We're planning for some exciting projects during the summer. So we're doing the legwork in terms of communicating and working with various organizations, groups of folks to make sure that it's being implemented well. Yeah.
By the way, how is the fence project at the high school in front of auditorium?
The fencing project is close to completion. It's I believe that there are poles that are already installed. We're waiting for the fencing panels to go up next week. Right?
Yeah, so we've installed all the posts and the footings for those posts. The fence panels are a prefabricated fence panel, and they're scheduled to be delivered next week. And they simply just bolt on to those posts that we've already installed. With that, we've also installed all the infrastructure for the access controls. So that's why after the completion of construction, we'll be meeting with that access control vendor so that we can have either a license plate reader or some type of badge reader system to open the gate towards food services, I believe.
So how long it take to finish?
Next week.
The fencing will be installed next week. We're working with the technology vendor. It's going to be a really nice system. We had an opportunity to go out and visit a neighboring district that had it. And it not only improves the security, but it gives us more visibility. It integrates with our existing cameras. So a lot of advancements to improve our safety and security.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving on. Item 10B, the governor's budget overview. I'd like to turn it back to Dr. Choi to present an overview on the governor's budget.
Thank you, President Gill, members of the board, student member Burke, and executive team. Tonight, it's my pleasure to provide an informational update on the governor's proposed budget for 26-27. I'll briefly cover the economic context, key components of education funding, and what this proposal may signal for our district. And as a reminder, this is the governor's January proposal. It will continue to evolve through the May revise with final adoption anticipated in June. So the initial headlines following the release of the proposed budget on January 10th were largely positive, especially since it focused on the replenishment of the rainy day fund and sustained investments in education. And as further details became available, underlying concerns surfaced. Despite increased spending, the proposal points to a growing structural deficit for California.
However, at this stage, education funding remains relatively stable, but future conditions will largely depend on how state revenues materialize. The governor emphasized that this is his final budget and highlighted several accomplishments during his administration, including universal TK, universal meals, the expanded learning opportunities program, and increased investments in special education, early literacy, and educator professional development. However, despite these positive highlights, it's important to examine the broader economic indicators. The US GDP has grown in recent quarters, which is encouraging. However, affordability remains a concern. Even with wages outpacing inflation, consumers continue to feel cost pressures. Unemployment, on the top right, remains relatively low, but there is a growing concern that recent stock market gains are disproportionately driven by artificial intelligence industries, as you can see on the lower right there, raising some questions about whether or not that's sustainable. Closer to home, economic conditions in California remain mixed. Inflation persists, the labor market is softening, and housing remains a challenge in California, with flat home prices and limited new construction. Additional uncertainty exists around federal policy decisions, geopolitical conflicts, tariffs, and labor shortages that are tied to immigration policy. Looking ahead, a major concern is the persistence of state budget deficits. Current projections indicate a $22 billion deficit in 2027 through 28, which puts a lot of pressure on future education funding. Now, historically, you can see that the governor's proposed budgets have relied on more optimistic revenue assumptions than what is ultimately materialized in the actual budgets. And looking at the big three tax revenues here, that same pattern continues, adding risk to out-year projections. And with that in context in mind, and given how closely the economy and the education funding are linked, let's take a look at what it means for public schools. Most California school districts are facing similar challenges with declining enrollment, expenditures that exceed ongoing revenues, and continued uncertainty regarding the state's Proposition 98 settle-up mechanism. Let's talk a little bit more about each of these challenges. Declining enrollment remains a statewide trend, and as shown in this chart, you can see that the state's largest counties continue to lose students. You can see Los Angeles County in the red at the very bottom there, experiencing the largest decline. At the same time, the districts face escalating costs across multiple areas, including salary, step and column, benefits, utilities, insurance, and contracted services. Now, as funding increases remain modest, districts have become increasingly reliant on LCFF to absorb these rising costs. And as I've noted in the past, any discussion of California school budgeting must include Proposition 98. Prop 98 establishes a minimum funding guarantee for K-14 education by requiring a set portion of the state's general fund to be allocated to schools. Over the past 2 years, the state has withheld a portion of that funding, and at times without even formally suspending Prop 98, and instead describing the action as a settle-up tied to unrealized revenues. In 24-25, these withholdings totaled $1.9 billion, raising significant concerns across the education community. And under the governor's 26-27 proposed budget, this withholding strategy appears again, but at a slightly higher level of $5.6 billion. Sorry, not slightly, significant. If the minimum guarantee were fully funded, districts statewide would receive approximately $909 more per ADA. For San Marino Unified, that would represent roughly $2.8 million in additional funding. While this is not final, it is a key issue that we will continue to monitor closely. On this slide, this is the familiar dartboard that our district and as well as many other school districts use. It highlights the key LCFF funding planning assumptions. The proposed COLA for 26-27 is estimated at 2.41%. And although it will likely change with the May revise, the COLA estimate is lower than the 3.02% that was projected in the adopted budget last year. Now, a key theme of the governor's proposal is the limited availability of new ongoing funding. rather with an emphasis on maintaining existing programs. One example is the proposed schools student support and professional development block grant. School services estimate that this would equate to approximately $512 per ADA. These discretionary funds could be used to support professional development, instructional initiatives, or to help address ongoing cost pressures. The budget also proposes restoring the remaining Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant, which was previously deferred. This block grant was established to help school districts support academic recovery and address the impacts of pandemic-related learning disruptions. This restoration could provide an estimated $228 per ADA based on 21-22 ADA figures. Now, ELOP would continue with a slight increase for districts receiving Rate 2 funding, which includes San Marino Unified. ELOP provides funding to support before and after school, intersession, and summer learning opportunities for qualifying students. Universal meals would continue under the proposed budget, although overall funding is slightly reduced to reflect some of the updated statewide participation estimates. The program would continue to receive a COLA, and one-time grants for kitchen infrastructure and staff training would again be available. Prop 28, funding for arts and music education, would continue as an ongoing funding as well. Program requirements would remain unchanged, including the requirement that at least 80% of the funds be used to supplement staffing. Special education funding is expected to increase in 26-27. If the proposed state equalized funding rate remains, the special education base rate would have increased by approximately 179% over the last 6 years. And while this growth represents meaningful progress, special education remains an underfunded mandate for school districts, including San Marino Unified, and will continue to require contributions from the general fund. And finally, a brief note on reserves. While many districts are able to build reserves during the pandemic through one-time funding, a growing statewide trend shows an increase in deficit spending. The shift reflects the expiration of those one-time funds, rising ongoing costs, and continued enrollment declines. Now, while San Marino Unified has been fortunate to not experience enrollment declines this year, the district is not immune to future declines or exempt from escalating costs. While a significant portion of our district's budget is supported by local funding, it remains important to closely monitor the development of the state budget. Our financial stability is strengthened by revenues from our parcel taxes, financial support from the San Marino Schools Foundation for teacher positions, and extraordinary contributions from our PTAs, boosters, and community organizations. All of these factors are what truly differentiate us from so many other districts that are having to look at reductions and potentially consolidating schools. This evening, I have provided a broad overview of the governor's proposed budget, recognizing that much will change between now and June. I will return in March to present the district's second interim financial report, as well as in May to review the governor's May revision before bringing forward the district's 26-27 budget for adoption by the end of June. In the meantime, I look forward to continuing to work collaboratively with our school sites, departments, school-connected partners, as well as the Board of Education through ongoing dialogue. Thank you again for the opportunity to provide this update.
Thank you so much. Any questions, board?
Yeah, Dr. Choi, I was reading the weekly board memo information, probably was sent out 2 weeks ago, and maybe last week, but I recall you or Dr. Delatorre describing what the budget would entail, where the funding was continuing versus where the funding was absent, right? So you're marking that, you're presenting that there's an increase in special ed, but still it's underfunded. You're presenting information about the extended care, right? The extended learning opportunities. And is that fully funded? I want you to talk a little bit about where his budget focus is, and then whether it's covered or not in terms of it's better, but it still doesn't cover what we have to pay.
Yeah, what's interesting is the governor didn't actually present his own budget. He presented a state of the state the day before. And it was very celebratory in tone. It was celebrating all the different programs that he and his administration launched for the past several years. However, this is a proposed budget. And while it seems stable and celebratory in spirit, there's a lot that could potentially change between now and May. And the reality is, as data comes in, as actual revenues come in for the state, a lot of that will ultimately affect and influence the May revise. And I wouldn't be surprised if the May revise doesn't present such a healthy budget compared to what he has presented 2 weeks ago. So I think it is subject to change, but at this time, the biggest concern is still with the Prop 98 settle up. That is significant because this would be the third year. It first started out as being called a gimmick. He later called it a maneuver. But third time is very concerning for education. Because that's money that's withheld that could ultimately benefit our students today.
So how are we closing that gap?
Well, we have relied very heavily on a lot of our local revenues, right? It's not a mystery that our parcel taxes, our schools foundation, our PTAs, all of those organizations that contribute approximately 30% of our revenues will continue to be very important for us to stay fiscally healthy. So, LCFF funding is significant, represents 60% of our budget. But at the same time, our local revenues and our local sources are remarkable as well.
So I think suffice to say, Dr. Delatorre and the cabinet, you guys are doing a wonderful job with what we have. But we continue to need the community support in order to provide the quality of education that we strive to serve our community, and as well, their expectations are high, right? So as we thank you for bringing that, the information regarding the budget, and then keep us apprised. You don't have to wait till the May revise, just keep us updated onto what we need to look at. Thank you, Dr.
Absolutely.
Choi.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, if there's no further questions, we'll move on to 10C, AI Task Force update, and I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Kwok Hong, along with members of the AI Task Force, to provide the Board of Education with progress of the task force.
Thank you, Board President Gill, members of the board, Board Member Burke, Superintendent Delatorre, and executive team. This evening, I would like to present an update on the AI Task Force, along with a first reading of Board Policy 0441, Artificial Intelligence. This policy is a template and a recommendation by CSBA, the California School Boards Association. First, I'd like to take a minute to introduce the AI Task Force. The task force met typically twice a month in person or via Zoom. We have a list of our schedule there, and this is the roster for our task force. In August, the district convened an AI task force composed of teachers, administrators, union presidents, parents, students, staff, and our very own board member, Sung. The AI task force proactively examined the impact of artificial intelligence at San Marino Unified, and the goal was to build a shared understanding and provide thoughtful recommendations for future guidance with AI. Since August, the task force has focused on three primary areas. First, developing a framework for how AI fits within our district's values, our instructional goals, and existing policies. This includes identifying principles around safety, ethics, transparency, and human oversight. Second, creating preliminary guidelines for responsible use. These discussions have centered on how AI may support teaching, learning, and operations while maintaining academic integrity, protecting student data, and supporting equitable access. Third, examining the capabilities and limitations of various AI applications currently available. The task force reviewed how those tools function and where they made value and where we should caution or apply additional safeguards. This work has been intentionally exploratory and collaborative. The task force has not made any purchases or any mandated decisions, but instead has helped inform the development of a proposed board policy and the future administrative procedures. Next, I would like to present you a first reading of Board Policy 0441, Artificial Intelligence. The San Marino Unified School District recognizes the transformative potential of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is already part of our educational landscape. It's embedded in the tools our students use, the software that supports instruction, and the systems that help operate efficiently as a district, help us operate efficiently. The purpose of this policy is not to accelerate adoption, nor to restrict innovation, but to provide clear, responsible frameworks and guidance for how AI may be used in our schools. Things such as increasing student access to information, supporting teacher effectiveness, and drive data analytics. Therefore, the district is committed to supporting the use of AI by students and staff in accordance with the following principles. The key frameworks of Board Policy 0441, Artificial Intelligence, include student-centered. AI should be used to enhance learning and digital literacy. Frameworks, staff-centered. AI should be used as a tool for support, not a substitute for educators. Ethical use and transparency. Students and staff should be honest about when and how AI is used. Accountability and responsibility. Humans remain responsible for their decisions. Equity and access. AI should never widen gaps between students. Secure and private. Student data protection is not negotiable. Professional development. Staff should receive training to meet expectations. Community engagement, keeping families a part of the conversation. And number 9, continuous improvement. Continue to evolve our policies as the technology evolves. These frameworks are meant to be consistent with other policies, such as Board Policy 0441, District Technology Plan, and Board Policy 6154, Academic Honesty. I'm happy to read through the policy and make any edits you may have. This policy will be brought back to the board for a second reading in March, at the March board meeting, and I would love to open up for any questions if you have any.
Thank you for all this work. It's something I do feel like we really need. Since AI is already here, I feel like the framework is of utmost importance. So is there any pushback from administration or teachers on the use of it at all? Or?
Actually, the opposite. We've been getting questions on more, what can we get? What can we use? What will you buy us? We've actually been getting the complete opposite.
Oh, great. Okay. I appreciate that it's flexible, so it can change without centering on specific technology. So, thank you. Any other questions?
For this policy, there's a 9 point. I also like to hear from the cabinet point of view. Among the 9 points, what happened since the AI where for the student may take AI as a vehicle? So how to reflect to the teacher homework? Yeah. So is that we have a wording to cover?
I think what we would like to focus on are more of the guidelines for both students and staff. Something that we've been kind of focusing on is like a 1-pager of do's and don'ts that teachers can do, do's and don'ts that students can do, what they can use AI for and what they shouldn't be using AI for. And we will hope to present more of that in our next reading.
Okay.
think the most, when you talk about pushback, I think we had a little bit of pushback from our English departments, and rightfully so. They want to make sure that students are still practicing writing on their own. And I think we'll see a lot more in-class writing assignments as opposed to, homework. It's going to change, but we do know that kids are using AI now without a framework, with or without board policies to guide that. And so we need to put these practices into place to really structure how our teachers will implement their own classroom guidance with students. And so I think there's a real fear that students are using artificial intelligence to plagiarize essays and things like that. And we are absolutely taking that into consideration as we move forward with our framework. But I agree that every teacher is going to have their own set of rules and guidance. We have to give teachers autonomy to be able to run their classrooms, but they do so within the framework of the board policy. So as AI continues to evolve, it is incumbent upon us to stay on top of that and to really get professional development and information from experts in artificial intelligence so that we can get out in front of these issues. And another reason Dr. Richter and I are going to be attending the National Education Conference this year. One focus area for us will be going to AI sessions to make sure that we have the latest and greatest information from the experts that we can bring back to the school district and share with our artificial intelligence task force. And I think we're very lucky and fortunate in this community that we have members of the community who are absolute experts in AI. You have introduced me to some, I remember at the Chinese Club, that are working for Google, as I recall. So we have people who are really well-informed on this topic who are helping advise the school district as well. So we will continue to provide the Board of Education with information, and certainly we'll provide information when we return from that conference, which is in February.
Thank you.
Kwok, is there any attempt to challenge or help students to look at AI as a way in which we can accelerate learning or differentiate instruction in terms of, we talked a lot about UDL and student voice, student choice. How is AI used as a vehicle to help us accomplish some of those goals for our exceptional students?
Yeah, we have both of our ed services, TOSAs, on our AI task force, and they've been kind of tasked with the differentiation and the UDL portions. They've been kind of going over different tools that students and staff members can use, what they can use from those tools and what they maybe can't use from those tools. So we've been, I don't want to say any specific tools, but we have been looking at a lot of different tools to help with both differentiation, UDL, both student and staff side.
And if I just may add on to what you just mentioned, I think student voice, having our student members on this committee has just been invaluable. They are able to articulate the needs that they have. And oftentimes those needs are diverse, so that aligns to kind of what you're saying, Ms. Ryan, is how do we differentiate along the path of universal design to provide access and equity to our students, no matter what level they're performing at. And I think having student voice, so we're able to hear what those needs are and then have those organic, productive conversations in the task force to then take the next step and investigate and research those tools to best support our students from, remediation all the way through to enrichment, and really to increase access as well.
In terms of UDL, we talked about universal design for learning and differentiation, which is one and the same. Teachers are now able to use these AI tools for lesson planning, for differentiation. They can do so much now in an abbreviated amount of time. It's really a tool that teachers can use to make their lives easier and their planning time more efficient. And I think that we have a lot of early adopters who are on board with that. And I'm modeling that for other teachers throughout our district, which I think is really valuable.
Thank you. Let's move on to item 11, action items. 11A is the approval of an agreement between San Marino Unified School District and Commercial Roofing Systems, Inc. for a replacement of the San Marino High School concession building. I would like to turn it over to Dr. Choi to present the agreement.
Thank you, President Gill and members of the board. So our first two action items this evening are related to the roofing work at San Marino High School's concessions restroom. The first item is the request for an approval of an agreement with Commercial Roofing Systems to remove and replace the roof at the concession building. This project addresses aging roof conditions and localized wood deterioration, helping ensure that continued weather protection and will extend the building's service life. The contract cost is $34,653 and will be fully funded with Measure M funds. It's recommended that the board approve the contract for this project.
Do you have any questions from the board? If not, I'd love a motion, please.
Motion to approve.
Second, please.
Second. Second.
Ms. Lamb, thank you. Roll call, Mr. Chang,
Aye.
Ms. Lamb,
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan,
Aye.
Mrs. Gill, aye, and Mr. Burke.
Aye.
Thank you. Back to Dr. Choi.
Thank you. The next item is a request for approval to purchase CMAS approved roofing materials from the Garland Company for the San Marino High School concession stand. These materials will support planned roofing improvements as well as will be procured under CMAS. The purchase cost is $33,828.74, which includes tax and freight, and will be fully funded with Measure M funds. It's recommended that the board accept and approve this request.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, Mr. Chang,
Aye.
Ms. Lamb,
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan,
Aye.
Mrs. Gill, aye, and Student Board Member Burke.
Aye.
Thank you. Back to Dr. Choi.
Thank you, President Gill, members of the board. Our final action item this evening is a request for approval of an agreement with GPRS to provide underground utility locating and video pipe inspection services at Carver Elementary School. This work will identify and document underground utilities and assess sewer and storm lines to support safe excavation and future project planning. The total cost is $7,250 and will be fully funded using Measure M funds.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, Mr. Chang,
Aye.
Ms. Lamb,
Aye.
Mrs. Ryan,
Aye.
Mrs. Gill, aye, and Student Board Member Burke. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, item 12, board and superintendent discussion items. Do you have anything for us?
No.
Does the board have anything for our superintendent? Okay, wonderful. Well, with that, and we have no need for a closed session following this meeting, I'd like to adjourn at 8:09. Thank you.
Thank you.